because this has been a channel that I started with my son, and I know how toxic the internet can be. Hey y'all, it's Chris and welcome back to my channel, Creative Loops. This is my channel where I explore all things yarn, crochet, and sometimes knit. This video will be a little different because I am going to be participating in the Crochet Creator Tag, which was started by Rachel from the Faded Wildflower Crochet, or TFW Crochet, here on YouTube. It's 10 relatable questions that we'll go through. Dante, my son, helps me with these videos, so you're going to hear him asking me these questions, and then I'll start to answer the questions. He might add in his thoughts every now and then, either verbally or through the comments on screen, so keep an eye out for that. I am going to have my work in progress here that I'm working on. This is actually a part of another video that I'm recording at the same time, and so this came as a part of my 9th hooks and needles box, so that will probably come out next week or the week after. Keep an eye out for that as I'm working on this. Also working on another project using Baggoday's tonal hues, so I don't know if this will be next week's video or the week after that. But either way, one of the videos next week will be either hooks and needles or Baggoday. Grab your whip, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your cocktail, whatever it is that you are working on or doing while you're watching this video, and settle in, and let's get started on these questions.
Hi, I am Dante, and I'm going to be asking questions. How did you learn to crochet?
So I talked about this a little bit in my very first video that's still up on this channel, the welcome video. I learned to crochet by watching my grandma crochet. She would often have like a knitting needles and a crochet hook kind of next to her with some yarn, and I would just watch her do it. I learned some really basic stitches when I was younger, and I never really picked up the needle and hook and yarn to make anything until I was in high school. Once I got into high school, I started kind of making scarves and hats for my friends, and I was just crocheting here or there, mostly knitting in high school. I didn't really start to crochet until more recently, when I got back into kind of making some shawls and amigurumi. So I haven't been doing amigurumi as long as I've been crocheting and knitting in general. I've been making blankets for a long time, scarves for a long time, and most of what I know I learned from books and YouTube. So even though I learned like some basic skills from my grandma and from, through life, I learned most of what I know outside of like this, just the general flat crochet and flat knitting. I learned on YouTube. I love just learning things. Crocheting and knitting are something that you can always have something new to learn, because there's new things happening all the time. There's no wrong way to crocheting or knitting. Some people might tell you there is. I'm here to tell you there is no wrong way to crocheting and knitting. If you have a piece that comes out and you like it, regardless of what other people think about it, you are a crocheter and a knitter. So be proud of yourself, be happy with that. You're only going to get better from here.
What's your favorite thing to crochet?
I really enjoy projects that have a variety of different stitches. Not something too complex where I can't kind of just zone out, but not something too simple where I'm sitting here and I'm getting bored with the stitches. Like this is just double crochet on repeat until you get to the points where you chain 2, and then it's just still double crochet. So if I were designing this, I would have thrown in some different stitches to kind of make this more exciting and break up the monotony, but I didn't design it. So yes, my favorite thing to crochet are blankets. My blankets are my go-to when I'm crocheting or knitting. I also love to make garments now. So a shawl, I love to make a shawl. I really loved making this robe. There's going to be a question later on where I'm going to talk more about that. Blankets and shawls are perfect for the different kind of 2 or 4 row repeats that I prefer to do. You can get into a rhythm and just knock them out. Hoodies, sweaters, cardigans, those have quickly become kind of like some of my favorite things to work on with a variety of different types of yarn.
If you could only use one yarn for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Knit Picks or Recrochets Mighty Stitch. That is an 80% acrylic, 20% wool yarn. It is a worsted weight, but it is a thin worsted weight. I would argue that it's more of a 3 weight or a DK weight than a worsted weight yarn. But I love that yarn. If I could only choose one yarn to use the rest of my life, it would be that yarn, because that yarn works for blankets, it works for garments, it works for anything you can think of. It's a very versatile yarn. Because of the high acrylic content, it is washer and dryer safe. It holds up very well. There's very minimal peeling in the final product, and it's just super soft. It has a slight sheen to it. Love it. That is the yarn that I would use the rest of my life if I could only use one yarn. I love different types of yarn though, so if I don't have to, I'm not going to stick to one yarn. I'm not even going to stick to one yarn company. If I don't have to, I'm going to explore every and any yarn that is out there, and I'll probably like it even if it's crappy yarn, because I just really like to use yarn.
What was the weirdest thing you ever made?
I've never really made anything really weird on purpose. I think the only thing that I can think of that would probably classify or fall under that category of kind of weird crochet would be some of my first amigurumi pieces. I really struggled to know how to sew on pieces. I didn't really understand some of the shaping techniques when I first started out, and I can be a very stubborn kind of crocheter or knitter, where as I'm looking at as I'm looking at a pattern, if I don't think I like the instructions that the pattern is giving me, I might not follow it. Sometimes that's in my favor. Most of the time it's in my favor because I do know how to shape like flat crochet, but amigurumi or 3D crochet, that's where I still struggle on the shaping and all of that. It's still very foreign to me. And so my first amigurumi, where I was kind of like, I don't need to follow the pattern. This decrease seems a little too steep. Let me do a little slighter decrease. Let me do not much of a decrease. Whatever. It ended up looking horrible. I wish I had pictures to show you, and I wish I still had some of it to show you. I don't. But if you want to kind of get a picture in your head, Google cursed crochet on Reddit, and you would probably find some comparable finished products that look just like what I did when I first started crocheting. So there you go. Not really weird like some of the other things that crocheters have made in the past, but it was definitely looked weird.
What is something you'll never crochet?
I wouldn't say that I would never crochet anything, because I'm always open to crocheting different types of things. Like I just recently bought some crochet thread, Lydia's crochet thread, to try and start using that. I haven't started using it yet, but I bought some so that I could start using it. I would say something I would probably never crochet are things that go viral. So think about the 6-day star blanket, think about the mushy boy stuff that you see everywhere. When something becomes super popular and goes viral, I tend to pull away from it, even if it looks super cool, because like the 6-day star blanket, reminded of that with this. It's beautiful, and especially with some of the different yarns that you use. Like I could imagine making one with this yarn, and oh my gosh, it would come out beautifully. Love green, love the way that this transitions, the color transitions. So I know that the pattern is phenomenal, and nothing against Betty McKnit, who made that pattern. She's an amazing crocheter, because I like to have crochet pieces that's like, I did this, it is one of a kind. Yeah, someone else might have the pattern out there, someone else might be making it, but it's not that popular where when I turn around and go down the street to another crocheter, then I'm going to see it in their house as well. I like the uniqueness of this hobby, and those things, I don't see those as a challenge anymore to me. I don't feel motivated to do it because I'm seeing it in my feed everywhere, and I want to try something new. I want to try something unique. I want to try something that's going to be one of a kind.
Where do you get your inspiration?
A lot of my inspiration comes from other creators. It comes from the internet. It comes from YouTube. I love to watch other people sit and crochet. I love to see the different patterns that people release. I am more of a I will freehand clothing. So if it's a shirt, if it's a hoodie, if it's short, any type of clothing, I will often freehand it. I get inspiration from things that I see online, things that I see and I'm like, ooh, I can do that, or things that I see and I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. And so I buy a lot of patterns. Anything that I show on my channel, if it's inspired by a pattern, I still give credit to the pattern designer because I got the idea from them, and I want to make sure they get credit that I was inspired by their work. So you will always see me give credit to a designer if I'm using their pattern, definitely, and if I'm inspired by their pattern.
What is your favorite thing you've made so far this year?
The favorite thing that I've made so far this year is this robe. I am in love with this robe. We'll insert a video for you to see as I'm showing off the robe. I'm in love with it. I'm already thinking about how I'm going to choose just like a bunch of greens to create a gradient color with the greens and a darker foundation, like a black. And so I think I have enough big twist yarn upstairs from my haul that I did earlier this year. I think I have a couple different greens, and I know I have a good amount of black where I can make at least one or two more robes. I might start using up my big twist yarn, my green and black big twist yarn already. That's why I bought it, why hold on to it. But this is definitely my favorite thing that I've made so far this year. I wear it all the time, wear it every day. My husband makes fun of me on how like bright and colorful I am when I'm wearing it. And so yeah, I'm in love with that robe. That's my favorite thing that I've made so far this year.
What crochet plans are you excited about for the future?
That's a little difficult for me to answer. I plan to make a pattern. I plan to release a tutorial, just because I want to try to do those things, and I've never done them before, and I think it would be cool to do it. So I'm excited to do that sometime this year. I don't know when I am going to get around to doing it though, because I have a full-time career. Many of you don't know what I do in my professional life outside of YouTube, outside of crochet. And that's been somewhat intentional because this has been a channel that I started with my son, and I know how toxic the internet can be. And the work that I do is very important to me. It will be work that I'm always motivated to do, whether I'm employed to do it or not. And it also puts a spotlight on me, my family, and there can be some very dangerous people out there who, there can be some very dangerous people out there on the internet behind the safety of their screen and keyboards. And some of them don't want to stay behind the safety of their screen and keyboard. And that's the part that gets scary. So I am the president and CEO of a statewide nonprofit public health organization focused on the health and well-being of LGBTQ plus individuals in the state of Wisconsin. The work I do, again, can put a spotlight on me, and because that is work that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about crocheting as well, but this is my hobby. This is what I do to relax, to chill, to kill time, not necessarily kill time, but to be able to take time for myself. And that's not going to change. So I have no desire to be a crochet influencer. These videos that I'm making, are fun. I want to be a part of that. I want to be able to be a part of supporting and uplifting other people who crochet, other people who love this hobby, as well as LGBTQ plus people. And I want to be able to be seen as a black gay man who is just living my life. And so I will continue to make videos because I think it's important to be visible, to be seen for who I am and for what I do, and just to be seen as a person. So while I'm excited about the future of crochet and the future of this channel, you won't see me starting a crochet business. I have more than enough on my hands with the nonprofit business that I'm currently running, and I have no desire. I feel like that will take the fun out of crochet. The tutorials or patterns that I release will really just be something that I do because I made something and I want to share it with people. I don't think that I have the time and energy to put into YouTube and to put into crochet to get to a place where I can make money off of it. So that's not going to be something that I do or strive to do. And I want to be clear with my intention with this channel, so that folks don't think that I'm trying to do something that I'm not.
What is the worst thing about crochet?
Weaving in ends. I hate it. I despise weaving in ends. So I try to weave in the ends as I go. You'll see the only end that I have not woven in so far is the starting one, and I do that intentionally. I actually did weave it in. Yeah, I wove it in. I just haven't cut it off because I want to make sure that I know what the wrong side versus the right side of my crochet work is. And if I cut this off too soon, it's going to be harder for me to tell. I'll still be able to tell, but it'll be just a little harder. I'll have to look closer. I can't just look for the dangling tail. That's the worst part to me. I know it's like kind of like a cop-out answer, but to be completely honest with you, I love all things crochet, and even some of the irritating things about crochet that other people might call out. The most irritating thing for me about crochet itself is weaving in the ends. Now, if we think about things that are in the crochet atmosphere, people stealing each other people's patterns, AI, the all of that, the drama with like entitlement around when someone releases a pattern and what information they're sharing with you, the gatekeeping of like different yarns that someone is using or different patterns that someone's using. All of that is irritating, and it happens all the time.
What's your favorite thing about crochet?
My favorite thing about crochet is the creativity and the calm that it brings. Again, I crochet because it is something that helps me relax. It helps quiet my brain. By keeping my hands busy allows my brain to be able to focus better on other things. I know it sounds really weird to people who are not neurodivergent, and it's like, how are you able to focus on other things if you're focusing on crocheting? Honestly, crocheting is one of those things that I can fall into muscle memory with. I don't have to do a lot of thinking about. My hands just start to move on their own, and I get in the zone. So by keeping this busy, by keeping a part of my brain focused on that, I'm able to free up other parts of my brain to then wander to other things. So I'll crochet when I'm watching a movie. I'll crochet when I'm on like a virtual meeting, because I take more from those moments when I'm able to participate and crochet than if I'm just there trying to focus completely on the movie, trying to focus completely on the people talking to me. I'll be staring you dead in your eyes, and my brain will be thinking about the email I didn't answer, will be thinking about the laundry that's on the floor in the basement, will be thinking about whether I, actually started the load or just put the clothes in the washing machine, all that stuff. Like, I will be staring you in your face, you'll be talking to me, and if I don't have something to fidget with, my brain just starts to go everywhere else. I'm sorry. It just happens. I really love crocheting. As I get older, I hope that I can retire someplace in a beachfront community, maybe work at a yarn store or open a yarn store and just crochet my life away. Might sound horrible to somebody, but to be completely honest with you, that sounds like an amazing final few years to just be able to lay out on a beach, talk about yarn with people all day, and make stuff. That sounds amazing. Yeah, crocheting to me, it's soothing, meditative, and it is profoundly rewarding just being able to see a final piece to the time that you spent on something, being able to show something, be like, look, I made this. It really means a lot to me to be able to look at something and just be like, wow, I did that. So that's it for me for the Crochet Creator Tag. Thank you again, Rachel from the Faded Wildflower Crochet, for creating this, for posting these questions, for starting to tag people. I wasn't tagged in her video. I saw her video. I follow her. I love her videos. And so I thought it'd be a fun thing to do. I'm going to tag Brandi from Moon Bay Crochet. I'm going to tag Crystal from the Nerdy Crocheter. She also has the Bag O' Day channel, but she has a second channel that's called the Nerdy Crocheter, where she talks more about, it's more of a crochet and chat video that she does. And so if you know the difference, you know she's a phenomenal crocheter. I know she watches my videos every now and then, and I hope that she'll participate in this. She's recently done some lives on the Nerdy Crocheter, but hasn't posted any videos in a while. So I'm sure she's super busy, especially with the release of her yarn. But I'm going to tag her. Anyway, Crystal, the Nerdy Crocheter, I hope you do this. I'm also going to tag Haylie from Haylie Night, tagging Katie, the Celestial Homebody, Lisa from Happy to Hook Creations, Q from My Fiber Fun, Sarah from Crochet Vision, Sterling from Cactus Lady Creations, Toni from TL Yarn Crafts, who's another large crochet creator. I really doubt that she sees my videos, but Toni, if you do see this video, I hope you participate. And Zach from Crochet Me Zaddy, who I've learned a lot of amigurumi techniques from. I was going to tag Chris from Naughty Bear, but as I started to record this, I saw that he posted a video, I think either last night or sometime yesterday or this morning, where he's actually answering these questions. So Chris from Naughty Bear, check out his video where he's going through his list of questions as well. I'll put that in the description below. If you are a maker and you don't have your own YouTube channel to be able to post and answer these questions, the questions are in the description box below. So please take a look at those questions and answer a couple of them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you all think about some of these questions. What are some of the things that you like least about crochet? What's your favorite thing about crochet? What's one of the favorite things that you've made so far this year? Any of the questions that speak to you, feel free to answer them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Again, this is an amazing community here on YouTube. Just loving crochet, loving yarn, creating things as we go. Thank you all for following me, for watching this video, and if you've made it this far, I hope I've earned your subscription. If you like what you saw, please consider liking the video. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, and keep those creative loops going.